This is a quick demonstration for Symantec on how to run and create reports in Centerstone. Last week I ran into a technical difficulty while I was trying to do this, but I've worked it out since. So this video will hopefully help you visualize how reports are run and created in Centerstone. So in addition to the dashboard pages and all the on-the-fly screens that you can easily export throughout the Centerstone product, you can launch our Report Explorer from anywhere in the product, and what you see on the screen here is how the Report Explorer will launch. You can see here that there are dozens of reports that ship with the system, and what we're going to do today is to just run one and then create one from scratch as well. If I wanted to run a report, for instance, a business unit allocation report by floor, I could go ahead and click on that report in the report writer, and what it'll do here is each and every report will present me with a filter set. In this case, it really just wants to know the building, and if I do a search here for the Golden Gate Fog building, all of the floors will come back in that building. I'm going to select the second floor. If I wanted to be more specific, I could actually set cost center at level 4. That's what I want to see my business unit allocation by, and click Run Report. And what this will do is this will kick a report out to PDF, but I could go ahead and kick these reports out to Excel, CSV, or other formats. Let's actually go ahead and run another report here, this BOMA report. I'll click on this one, and let's run the BOMA report against my as-built portfolio, and let's go ahead and kick this out as a CSV file. Just to give you another example, if I click Run Report here, it will generate the BOMA report against the entire as-built portfolio, and I can open it up once it's run, and just like this, I have got all of my BOMA information, which comes directly from the floor plans in Centerstone, listed clearly here in Excel. So I'm just quickly showing you how to run reports, but the premise is that you find the report that you want, click on it, and fill out the filter sets, right? But let's say I want to create a new report. Centerstone arms you with the tools to go ahead and click New, and you can either use the wizard, which will step you through it, or the editor. I prefer to use the editor. It's a little bit more powerful, and I think after you learn how to do this, you will as well. The first thing I'm going to do is pick my classification. Let's say I want to run a report to see all of a certain type of spaces or a vacancy report, something like that. I'm going to use the space console classification, and I'm going to make it a grouped report because I might want to group it by building or floor. And basically the way that this tool is laid out is you're going to fill out your filters up here, you're going to fill out your result fields down here, and then you can set your groupings and insert images, charts, that type of thing if you choose to. We're just going to create a simple report here for the purposes of the demo. So here are my filter fields. You'll notice that there's a big list on the left here. These are all the different things that are currently available that are coming from the space console classification. And so if there's something really specific that you want, you know, floor number, for instance, you can go ahead and just double click on it to move it over to the right, and then it'll show up as a filter for your report. I might also want to filter by the site name as well. Maybe I want to filter by tenant names, etc. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to my results columns here, and I'm going to start moving over the things that I want to see. So let's get a list of all the spaces on a floor and their statuses, right? So maybe I want to see the building name, and maybe I want to see the floor number that these spaces are on, right? And maybe I want to see the planned head count of the space. And actually, let's scroll up and find actual head count. We'll create a vacancy report here. And let's look and find the space names and space types. It's going to be down here in the list somewhere. I always like to see portion want the space number to show up, the current space status to show up, and maybe the space type. Now I'm going to move planned head count and actual head count down to the bottom here. And I actually want a column for vacancy, so I can build that because I know planned minus actual will give me my vacancy. So here I'm going to create a column using the edit formula column functionality, and I'm going to call it vacancy. And I'm going to take the planned head count into the algorithm builder here minus the actual head count, which will give me vacancy. So just like that, I've created a calculated field. You can do percentages and that type of thing if you're savvy with calculations. But you'll see my formula column for vacancy is now in the right box here, which are going to be my results. And anything that can be summed will allow you to determine how you're going to present it. So I want a sum of the vacancy for the floors that I run this against. And now I want to group this by building name and maybe a secondary grouping by floor number. So just like that, I can scroll down to the bottom and click Save. There were really only 3 steps involved: adding your filters, adding your fields, and adding your groupings. And I'm going to call this Sample Vacancy Report Number 1. I can click on it to save it. Once it saves, I can click Run. And those filter sets that I set up on the top of the report builder show up here now. So let's go ahead and say I want to run this against the as-built portfolio, and I want to run this against the Golden Gate Fog building. So let's search for all buildings and start with G. And here's the Golden Gate Fog in the as-built. And now I have the option again to run this to PDF, Excel, CSV, that type of thing. Let's run it to a PDF in a landscape format. And if I click Run Report, this should query the database and, just like that, return all of the spaces with their statuses and their space types, the appropriate planned head count, actual head count, and their vacancy. And at the very bottom of each floor, you will see the sum. So you could have kicked this out to Excel, you could have kicked this out to CSV, etc. You could have also determined if you wanted this to be a detailed report with all of the data that you see here, or just a summary report. There is a box here saying Show Summary Data Only. So in this case, I just built a vacancy report in about 2 minutes' time. So just one other thing I want to mention, from anywhere in the system, regardless of what tab you're on, you can click the Reports link up here, and it will launch the Report Explorer. There are reports pre-canned for all of these classifications, and clicking the New button allows you to walk through it with the wizard or the editor to build your own reports. If there's anything specific about reporting that you would like to dive into, I encourage you to reach out to Bill Coughlin or Wally Singleton, and I'd be happy to answer those questions for you. But hopefully this short video gives you an indication of how we run reports and where we go to run them.